Black Men Cry Too is an invitation for men of color to feel safe to unpack their hurt and share their truth. This space was created as an invitation for men of color to feel empowered to know it's okay that they can cry too. So you guys know I have this code, right? It's with this company called Manscaped or whatever.
Okay.
And the code is BlackMenCryToo, TOO, right? Okay. And you get like 20% off and like free shipping, all that cool stuff. But I don't have balls. So tell me, what has your experience been using it?
I will say I love the deodorant.
The ball deodorant?
The ball deodorant is pretty phenomenal.
Just walk me through it real quick. It's just one quick.
It's like 24-hour freshness, honestly.
So with the weather breaking and everything, I need a little breeze below the knees. That trimmer get it done?
It does.
I bet.
It does. And it has this little light on it.
Okay.
So it guides you through it, you know, so it's like
light on it?
Yeah, it's like a little
That's fire.
Yeah.
It's like a beam.
The blue light, right?
Yeah.
What's the
code again?
Code again?
BlackMenCryToo, TOO.
TOO.
TOO, not the number 2. TOO.
2O.
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 Oh, okay.
2O. Just like the Instagram and the website.
Mm-hmm.
And the YouTube. On this special bonus episode of Black Men Cry Too, I have the pleasure to sit down with 3 of our favorite guests from season 1. Thank you, Felix, Cash, and Denzel for joining me again.
No doubt.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, for real.
So to kick it off, I just wrapped up season 2, but I wouldn't be able to be here if I didn't do season 1. And to do season 1, I needed men like yourself to say yes. What made you say yes to sitting on a couch and talking about your feelings, your emotions, your story? What made you be like, you know what? I'm going to tell my truth.
For me, besides the fact that we've known each other for quite some time and I'm here to support you in everything that you do, I was in a really interesting place in my life. I had been going to therapy and I've been working on myself, and I felt, you know, why not? What do I have to lose? And I'm also a big advocate for therapy. So when I meet people, I'm like, yeah, you should definitely go to therapy. And I'm open about talking about my problems. So why not put it out on your platform?
For me, I'm open in my music all the time, but I also work with kids, and I understand that just sharing your own story could really spark a voice in somebody else to, you know, handle their situation or take their situation by the horn. So that's really why I said yes.
That's beautiful.
And for me, I've always been like an outlet or a voice of reason for my friends and family, to where I don't really express myself. And my girlfriend made me really see that. And this was like some form of therapy without going to therapy. So thank you.
Love that. Cool. Thanks, guys. So to sort of touch base and break down your answers, you had mentioned therapy. One thing that I loved replaying in your episode was so many times you were like, I never thought about that. I have to talk to Katie. And Katie is your therapist.
Yes.
How have you been going through processes of essentially recognizing the connection of what you need to unlearn and relearn? Basically breaking your own generational curses, cycles, toxic traits, whatever you want to call them.
I think something that I mentioned a lot in that first episode was just being honest with yourself. And I realized that when we filmed that episode, I wasn't being 100% honest with myself. I was getting there, but I wasn't there 100%. So now that I've really, because I said it so many damn times, whether it be on the episode or to other people, I realized that I do need to be honest with myself. So I almost had like a self-talk situation, and I've been doing that a lot lately. I don't see Katie as much as I did before. Before I would run to Katie like, there's a problem, I gotta go to you. Now I think about it and I talk to myself about it and I write it down if I need to, and I meal it over my head, and then I go to Katie when I think I found the solution, you know, and I'm like, I just need a little bit of reinforcement. But yeah, that's my, like, now I am living in my truth, and it's kind of creepy, but is very healthy.
And when you say living in your truth, how does that help your day to day? Like, do you feel you're walking around lighter, or do you feel like it is what it is? Yeah. This is just who I am.
It's a combination of both. It's a combination of both. I feel much lighter. It is what it is. It's a little bit of all of that. It's very freeing. Like we don't realize sometimes how much we put on ourselves. So much. I mean, obviously there's a lot going on in the world, so that we have that trauma, but then the childhood trauma, and then trauma that we inflict on our own. Like, there's just so many things. And I think that for me now, it's like, it's cool. Like sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, damn, if I say this, I'm gonna sound crazy. But people already think I'm crazy, so why does it matter? And I already know I'm a little crazy, whatever that means, right? So I'm just going to say it, and it is what it is. You take it the way that you want to take it. Feel much lighter.
Wait, guys. This is off brand. We have to take a shot. I am so sorry. 2020 is just still pestering in my mind. I got it all confused for 2021 now. So let's kick it off.
Cheers.
To the sequel.
Sequel. Success, longevity, as I always say before I take my shots.
The wordsmith said it all.
Haven't done Henny in a while.
Oh my God.
Haven't done shots in a while. People, outside gatherings. Miss them so much. Cash, I kind of wanted to touch base on how you had mentioned the youth is your reason why you said yes. In your episode specifically, you spoke about something that occurred in your youth, and that you spoke about being sexually abused by someone in your family. Since the episode has aired, have you continued that conversation?
Yes, I actually opened up about it a lot more because my family wasn't aware, like I was telling you before. But I actually spoke to my mom about it, and my mom was furious at first, and then she was like, to be clear, if anybody doesn't know, like what I expressed before was that when I was about 8 years old, had a situation with my female cousin where she just did some sexual things that I wasn't aware of, the things like that. But I recently spoke to my mom about it. My mom was furious. She actually contacted my cousin on Facebook, wrote her a whole essay, and then my cousin called me, and then I picked up the phone. She was just cursing. You telling these lies? You telling your mom that this? I'm like, listen, if you don't want to admit what happened, I know what happened. You know what happened. If this is the energy you're giving me, I have nothing to say to you. You feel me? So I'm like, when you're ready to talk, we can talk. So she basically called me cursing me out and stuff like that. So on her end, I'm just not going to deal with her. But as far as me going through the process, I've definitely identified the places where it affected me in my adult life and things like that with women and things of that nature. So I am definitely working on it. And those steps, that was a little rough when she called me like that. I'm like, wow, but whatever.
Well, I applaud you. Someone had told me recently not to tell others that you're proud of them because we should start living being proud of ourselves. So I hope that you're proud of yourself for taking that tremendous step and having that conversation with your mom. I can only imagine how challenging that might have been.
Took over 20 years, so.
I hope you're proud of you.
I am.
I'm happy for you.
Thank
How do you feel now that you were able to finally express it with your mom and have that moment?
It's still something that's like a little unreal to me because like I still haven't talked to many people about it. I still haven't really done the real work with like, I guess like therapy and like, it's just things that I've been doing internally. So I'm still a little confused about it, but I'm working through it.
So Denzel, in your episode, you spoke about, love languages and this being a form of therapy and starting therapy and how your partner was a big push for you into learning more things about yourself and becoming self-aware. How was it watching the episode back with your partner and talking about the things that you discovered and next steps that you want to do for yourself?
Well, we actually watched it separately. And I think, so I only watched it one full time, and that was yesterday. Because like you said, you're going to get into why we and went back into it and everything like that. But she told me I did good. She told me she wants me to be more expressive. And like I told you, she has all 5 love languages. I only have maybe 2. So it's not that much to, please me with the love and everything like that. But when someone has all 5, you have to attend to all 5. And I notice it all the time. She'll be like, get off your phone, write me a love letter, do this and third, come give me snuggles. So, I mean, I have to be adapted to it because I would say like I give love, but I'm not a very expressive person. So I gotta be on my shit to like tend to her needs and her love languages. So I'm trying to be more. Well, I would say I have been more attentive to her needs and her love languages.
And you had also mentioned part of the reason why you said yes is you're typically the person that a lot of your friends go to. Mm-hmm. So who do you go to have your release and your outlets?
Myself. Which I know that's bad, but this is why I come to things like this for forms of therapy. Because sometimes you feel as though somebody might not give you the right answer to what you need. And you're always, not contradicting yourself, second guessing yourself. Or maybe I can figure this out myself. I don't need a second opinion. But I'm trying to be better than that. You know, it's all about being progressive and moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Can I challenge that real quick?
Of course.
Is it a matter of people not telling you what you want to hear? Could that be the problem? Like when you go and talk to other people, maybe they're telling you things that you don't want to hear, so you want people to agree with you or whatever it is that you're feeling, and maybe that's why you don't.
I agree with you.
Because I used to be that way.
I agree with you, and that's why I'm trying to hold myself accountable. Like there's a lot of things. Like I even say in 2020, I fucked up a lot, and I hold myself accountable and not trying to go like, all right, you don't need the second opinion. You know you fucked up, so take care of your shit and get on your shit. Yeah. So I've been trying to hold myself accountable as much as possible. But I also, try to express myself when I can to my girl. And she always says, are you feeling good? Are you okay? Especially like with my leg and shit. She said, are you good? Like, I'm fine. She's like, are you lying to me? No. I'm doing better.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that. Yeah. I like how you said holding yourself accountable. What's one of my favorite words? Accountability. And in speaking about accountability, when we look at 2020, a lot of issues within society were becoming an uproar. There was Protect Black Women, the Black Lives Matter movement. We're still going through a pandemic. How are you guys holding yourself accountable as well as your peers accountable? Because it seems like we're in this big shift of really breaking down like systematic racism or problems within the culture and the community, mental health in itself. This being a platform and you guys speaking comfortably on it is a whole different, like no one would assume you guys would do something like this 5-10 years ago. So how do you guys hold yourself accountable and your peers accountable when it comes to making the proper changes?
For me, I'm in the community, like I said, and there's a lot of battles to fight, and I found myself getting overwhelmed a little bit in the beginning of the pandemic because it was a lot of marches, it was a lot of things going on with like my boy Flo was standing in front of this woman's house in Valley Stream because she was getting terrorized by her neighbors because she was Black. And a lot of that going on, it's a lot going on. So at the end of the day, I really had to hone in on the things that I can handle, being with my kids in the community center, my young boys that reach out to me, 17, 18 years old, that need guidance, really locking in on these things and really just giving back to what I know is best and not really trying to fight every battle because I was overwhelmed trying to do that. So that's my form of accountability.
For me, is learning a little bit more about everything, because I do feel that there's this pressure as a person of color, as an Afro-Latino, that I'm supposed to know. Oh, because you're Black, you're supposed to know. Because you're Afro-Latino, you're supposed to know. And sometimes I say things that are not correct at all by any stretch of the imagination. So I appreciate the people that correct me whenever I do say stuff like that. We live in a world where everything is cancel culture, which I honestly do not agree with, as somebody that works with artists and with people that are in the media. But I do support growth. And I support, people putting themselves out there and really understanding and asking the questions. I mean, there's been times where I've asked a question, and I've been told, oh, you're this phobic. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm asking because I don't know, so I don't know how you want me to, I don't know what you want me to do, but I'm not going to stop asking because it's the only way that we can keep growing. So that's how I deal with it. I read a lot too. I have to.
I have to for me.
I think for me, with holding accountable, I think I might have got a little bit over excessive with it, especially with over the protests and everything, because being able to work from home or not being employed, every day there was probably 8 protests going on. And for me, like, I take pictures on the side. So I was trying to be at every one last protest. And even if I wasn't taking the pictures, I was like deeply engraved into it. And, you know, like, we're trying to be peaceful and everything, but those things could be dangerous, especially being in New York, like with everything that was going on in this area right here. You could just be walking around at 8 o'clock trying to come from work or just coming from a friend's house. You're automatically looked at as somebody that's trying to protest against everything. I mean, well, society was set up and everything like that. So there were times where I even like pressure my friends, even knowing that some of them that this is not really like for them. They're not really into politics and activism and stuff like that. So I called myself as a friend. I was like, "Oh, you going to the protests in our school? Like they're trying to do it against like police brutality and everything in our neighborhood and everything. I know you've been a victim of it." He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna leave that to y'all niggas. Like, y'all good. You could do that. That's not my forte. You go out on the front lines and do all that." And I even had people ask me like, "Oh, DG, what's the protest this week? What's the protest this week?" And it came to a point where I had like my mother worrying about me and everything like that. So felt like I was being over accountable at a time to where I didn't have to be at everyone.
It's almost like that pressure, like we feel like we have to do this. We have to fight every fight and fight every battle. But how do you guys sort of balance that then when you realize this battle isn't my battle or this is a battle I should stand up for? Like, how do you guys decipher what fights to fight in a sense?
I go for feeling, to be honest. Feeling and really really understanding my position in the fight. You know, like, is this my fight? Of course, almost all of these fights feel like my fight, but is this something that I need to directly be involved with? You know, because like I keep saying, I'm in the community every day, so I'm fighting every single day. You know, so I don't know.
But I also think there's different ways of fighting. Right?
100%.
Like everybody wants, oh, if you're not at a protest and you're not fighting, that's not true. I was sitting in my house on social media looking at what everybody was doing. I chose not to put myself in that situation. There's a lot of people. We're going through a pandemic, and I think I have every right to not do that, right? The way that I look at it is I try to educate people. The same way that I go out there asking questions. Sometimes I have people that they'll say something and I'm like, wait, whoa, what did you just say? No, we got to rephrase that, or this is why you can't say that. And we'll get into heated debates about it, and I have to sit there and hear their side because we all come from different places. We all have different experiences, so we didn't all grow up the same. I'm a gay Afro-Latino male, you know what I mean?
From the Bronx.
From the Bronx. Cash is not. So we didn't grow up the same way. We don't know. He doesn't know things about me. So he might say something that may sound homophobic, but not because I know him, because I don't know you. But if I were to get to know you, I'd be like, well, he's not homophobic. Let me explain to him, like, this is why this is what it is. You know, so that's how I fight it. Yeah.
That approach.
I agree with both of them. They both hit the nail on the head.
So with that, how has 2020, being everything that it was, changed yourself with your outlook of yourself being a person of color in America? Have you changed your definition?
Not at all. It just became more apparent. You know, things are just more clearer. Like we already know where we stood. Things are becoming clearer, and things are becoming honestly better with the awareness. Although some of it feels like it's like a marketing ploy. A lot of people are using us for money. But you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. But I see no different. It's just more amplified.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I completely agree with Cash. I at first thought that a lot of it was just a marketing ploy, especially like the Blackout Tuesday where everybody just puts the black photo. And then it's like, all right, what are you doing today? It's a whole year later, and we're still in the same thing. People are still not moving up the ladder in their jobs. People are losing jobs. People not even qualifying for unemployment. So, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it is getting better, slowly but gradually. So I'm not going to take from it. You just praise it.
True.
Yeah, I think for me, 2020, I mean, I think on a marketing level, it was definitely amplified, you know, but these are conversations that we've been having for a really long time. So I do think 2020 was the amplification of that. For me, it was a little different because, as you know, I was at Fire Festival in 2017, and working there and that experience.
With Ja Rule?
This is Ja Rule.
You was on the island?
Yes, he was. You better watch Hulu.
Yeah, there's 2 documentaries on Hulu. We talk about it, but I think I mentioned it to Kat and the CVG team. I said while I was there, it was the first time I felt black. Right. And it's not that I never felt black. I just never thought that was a thing. I'm a person and I'm doing what I'm doing. And I was that all lives matter person. Right. Because here's the thing. Right. I think all lives matter is what comes after we're in a good place. Yeah. Right. Okay. So for me, it's a matter of you're important. Everybody's important. Like there's no, but I know
all lives can't matter if Black lives don't matter.
I understand all that. So for me at Fire Festival, it was like literally like maybe 2 or 3 Black people working on behalf of Fire Media. And we had all of these Black people on the island working for us in what looked like a field. So when you would stand on the top of the hill and look down, you see mostly Black men, all these Black men working in the heat, right? So the latest documentary that came out, I spoke about how I paid, from my own money, $1,000-$2,000 a day to get water for the people that were working because they wouldn't sell us any more water because we didn't have any money. Because I just thought it was inhumane. So for the first time, it was almost like, oh shit, like it hurt to see that because this is us. And that was the first time I ever felt
plantation vibe.
Yeah,
if you wasn't the person that you are, somebody could have had like heat stroke.
Right, exactly. So yeah, so being for exploited. Me, 2020, it was like the marketing aspect of all of that we've all seen. I mean, that was my experience, but we've all had different experiences as Black people, So now in 2020, we're going to put it on a marketing level and make it look good. That's what it was.
I definitely agree. Yeah. But I think what's interesting also with 2020 is the internal that we've all kind of shifted in. Like,
yes,
curious to hear your thoughts. But for me, it was, I'm no longer code switching. Like, you guys are going to get what you're going to get from here on forward. Like, you guys know my worth. I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to make you guys feel comfortable. I'm going to use my terminology. I'm going to talk in my culture. I'm going to show up as me, and you guys are going to have to get used to it. The same way I have to get used to being in these uncomfortable spaces where there's only me sitting there and no one else but me, and I have to be the token. This is who I am, and this is my voice, and I'm going to speak out anytime that something doesn't sound right. If there's an education aspect of it, how have you guys owned your voice, especially since you're sharing your truth, you're sitting down, you're having more open conversations? How have you guys gotten more comfortable in yourself and your voice?
I just want to touch on something you said as far as code switching, because I recently at my job, they wanted me to perform for the kids, and they denied my performance because I was using words that were too, what did she say? She said, I don't know if it was trendy or what. Like, I said litty, and I said, it wasn't even curses.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe
they told me to replace words like that, like lit or like
so
just
slang.
This I was slang.
So slang.
And because I took out the curse words, 2 curse words, I took them out, but then they denied it because of my slang. And then in my head, I'm like, what's the issue with the kids hearing this?
They're the ones that say it first.
Right.
Like, we learned it from them.
Them hearing that from me would actually probably make it a lot better.
More relatable. They can resonate
after
with
them
you.
telling me that, that whole code switching thing, like I made sure that I actually use my slang at work now, and not to where it's offensive or anything like that. But I'm being me 1,000%, especially after I just had to touch on that now that you said that. But yeah,
I like that, and I like how you even caught too, like the relatability. Like, how else do we feel connected? We need to see what we weren't granted when we were younger. I can't tell you I had Black teachers when I was younger. I had 3 throughout my whole life.
Maybe till college.
Same.
Oh wow, I had 1. I had 2. That's crazy.
But not even a male, was it?
No. I had maybe Mr. Cooper.
I don't even remember their name.
That was high school.
I had 1 in high school and 2 in college. That's it.
Wow.
Sorry, but Denzel, Felix.
What was the question?
What the question was?
How has 2020 made you more comfortable, like, in your voice, or what changes within yourself did you realize, you know what, from here on forward, I'm going to move like this. I'm going to operate like this.
I think 2020 as a whole made me, I don't know if anybody else feels like that, like I reset it. I hit the reset button. I try to take more self-care. And like y'all said, speak my truth. Don't let nobody, I guess you would say, talk down upon me or belittle my worth. So I guess it's about just more self-empowering.
I like that.
More self-empowerment than this year and going forward. And I remember I made a a tweet last year that I said, I don't care. It was before Juneteenth was a national holiday. I said, I don't care. I'm taking off Juneteenth for the rest of my life. So
that's real.
I said the same thing, and then our job was like, "Hey, moving forward, Juneteenth." I was like, "Oh, because I was gonna be off regardless."
Beginning of the year,
I'm gonna be off regardless. He wasn't gonna find me. Where's Catherine? Off. What's today? She's off. I'll work July 4th if y'all want. I'm not here Juneteenth.
For me, because 2020 was what 2020 was, and I was able to really hone in on therapy. I think that allowed me to be, what's the word? I guess honest, with who I am and like putting that out there. Like I even found in dating, you know, it was cause there's a lot of it in the gay world too, you know? So it's like, oh, he's a little too femme for me, or he's a little too masculine, or he's a little too this, he's a little too that. And I had to come to terms with the fact that I was who I was, right? As gay men, we all have a little bit of a feminine touch. That's just how we are. And then there's some gay men that have none. You know, like we come in all different shades the way that everybody else comes in all different shades. So I had to be comfortable with the fact that, you know, once in a while I may say, hey girl, you know, or get, you know, yeah, you know, and it's okay. You know?
I like that.
Yeah.
So here's a little on the spot question. How did you guys feel watching yourself? Like, was there something there that you were like, wow, I didn't realize that I needed to work on this, or I didn't realize that I feel comfortable with this? What was your biggest like aha moment watching yourself back in your episode?
I would think that when I first watched, like I said earlier, I only watched it twice. When I first watched it, I might have gotten maybe like 2 minutes in, and like I could tell I was nervous during the interview, and I got nervous and secondhand embarrassment for myself watching it. So I was like, nah, I'm not watching this shit. So then when you emailed me the other day and talked about the love language and everything, I'm like, all right, I gotta sit down and watch this shit. So I watched the full thing, and then I liked it. It was good. I feel like a lot of more topics I could have been more in detail. Yeah, more expressive, more in detail about it. But I mean, that's what happens when you look back and you just critique yourself. Right. So I don't want to be hard on myself, which I was in the past when it first came out. And then a whole year later, I finally watched it. I'm like, oh, all right, that shit wasn't that bad.
And how did your peers respond to it? Sorry,
everybody said it was good and said that they wished I would be more expressive, but I was just taking everybody else's opinion. I'm like, oh, all right, so you liked it? All right, it's good. I don't have to go see it.
I'm not gonna lie, it was very similar for me. Like, it was very cringy. Seeing myself talk about certain things is just still a little odd for me, because I'm used to seeing myself talk about music a lot, because I'm an artist. I see myself in front of the camera, it's music, and I'm comfortable, I'm confident and all that. But when I see myself talk about stuff from my childhood or whatever, like he said, I could see that I'm nervous. And watching myself be nervous after being so confident in other levels is like, I can't watch this. So I'm gonna be real, I didn't watch the whole thing. I probably watched like 2 minutes of it, and I knew what it was about. And the people that responded to it, they definitely liked it though. You know, they saw a different side of me, and things like that help with my music. But yeah, it was very cringe.
If I could double down, you said they saw a different side of you. How did you feel knowing that, like, okay, now they saw this different side? I'm assuming the side is your vulnerable side, your honest side, your truth side. How did you feel knowing, like, okay, they saw the layers off, they saw the mask off?
I actually appreciate it. I like it, because like then you could like almost piece together other parts of it. If you know me well, you could like piece together other parts, be like, oh, I know that, so this makes sense, you know? So it helps grow with other people in your relationships and your friendships. So I appreciate it.
I didn't cringe as much. I too didn't watch the full episode at first. But I think the one thing I noticed was, whoa, you are very anxious. You have a lot of anxiety. Because in anxiety, and I also don't listen intently, right? So I never listen to I listen to respond. I don't listen to respond. Yeah. I don't want to understand what you're saying. I just want to say what I have to say. And so that was like my biggest takeaway from it. It was like, oh wow, maybe if I listened to the question a little bit better, I would not have gone off on a tangent. You know, and you know this from when we've done speaking engagements in the past. Like, I always need a moderator, because I always go off on a whole nother, and I need somebody to bring me back. And it's because I didn't listen to where you were asking. I just want to say what I want to say. So that's how I felt watching that episode. And also the angle we were sitting in, but that's all.
Oh my God. Not gonna lie, me too. I was like, oh wow, so gym, trainer, we're gonna sign up tomorrow. Got it.
But how did it feel hearing us talk about these things? How did you feel?
Oh.
Watching it back.
Hey, hot seat.
You want to sit over here?
Gotta scoot over now.
As a woman.
I like that angle. As a woman, and if I'm being 100% truthful here, I felt blessed, and blessed in the sense of, minus Felix, we like just met that day. You know, we like were just recently starting to get to know each other. So I didn't know the two of you that well. And you had said something that you literally said, it's the first time I'm saying this. So in that moment, especially for your episode, it was, wow, okay. So he's feeling comfortable. Let him get it out. Don't question. Don't make it weird. Just let him continue speaking. This is what this is here for. Let you get your truth out. Let you get your hurt out. Let you get your experience out. For me, it helps me understand Black men better. And the reason why I say better is you guys are men of many words, but you're also selective with what words you're sharing with the world. Therefore, your stories get muddled because now you're allowing someone else to tell your story, someone else to paint your picture, paint your perspective, paint who you are. So for me sitting there, it, like Felix said, I had to actively listen. Now I'm actively listening to what it is what are you guys saying? What have you guys gone through? How have you guys continued living 20, 30 plus years with such heavy experiences and still go out and party and still show up for people, but then still have episodes of, why are you lashing out that way? Why did that like cause you to shut down and not speak anymore? It really ties into understanding how you guys operate, how you guys think, and the weight that you guys carry. Because as a Black woman, we're technically looked at as like the last of the totem pole. We are. We have to work twice as hard. We'll be lucky if we can even get anywhere closer to breaking the glass ceiling. All of that stuff, that's our pressure that we deal with every day. But then we love Black men. Either they're our brothers, our family members, our actual lovers. How can we show up for them? How can I help make this not an easier experience, but make this an experience where I can say, I see you, I hear you, I'm here for you. So that helps me in a sense. Like, I also need to change the way I speak to Black men. I speak about Black men. Like, even if I say niggas ain't shit, I'm going through something with a nigga who isn't shit at that moment, but it's not a blanket statement. Or even when I say that in my own personal situations, I'm still trying to dissect that person. Why is he behaving this way? Why is he acting this way? Why is he responding this way? Instead of me throwing more fuel to the fire, how can I de-escalate this situation, get to the root of it, and be able to walk away without it being another scarred, broken, battered story?
Right. Gotcha. I like that. It's beautiful.
That's a lot.
That was a great answer.
It was. And I think that for Black women, as you said, always at the bottom of the totem pole, Black women are always trying to understand or be there for everyone. But I think on this platform and being able to hear Black men talk about their issues, Black women can show up differently, right? Because sometimes we think we're showing up just by being supportive and stuff like that, and that's not what we need. So I think that it's a healthy balance between the both.
Because it ties back into the idea of Black women, Black mothers coddling their Black sons. So for me, it was thinking about, okay, what role did we play? And why Black men behave the way they do or act the way they do? Like, why can't they even feel comfortable or safe coming to us? We're supposed to be their equals. Where did we fuck up too? So that's something that you guys also were able to bring to light for me with sharing your stories and your experiences. So blessed and very appreciative. You all are spectacular men. You all know that.
Thank you.
You have a cheerleader in me. I support anything, almost anything, hopefully. Hopefully I don't have to pull the...
I'm joking.
Like, I don't have to cancel culture with my own homies. Like, damn, no, not Denzel. I was rooting for him. That's crazy. But with that, I want to thank you again for coming back and being honest.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Yes,
for having us.
Thank you. And we can do one last salute. Okay. We're gonna do that.
I'm not taking. We could cheers. I'm not shying this.
To continuing this ongoing breaking of cycles and stepping into new blackness.
Yes.
Salute.
Salud.
And as always, you can tune in to season 1 and 2 of Black Men Cry Too, and you can follow us on Instagram as well as YouTube, BlackMenCryToo, TOO. I don't know what else to say, so that's all I got.